Good day, everybody. Welcome to today's episode where I'm going to answer the question, how does the recorder tie in to the piano? The instruments as well as the sheet music. So I got this recorder in primary school with a little book that goes with it. Never learned to play, and then I bought a set of 2 of these recorders as well as another one of this through the post second hand. It must have been about 15 years ago, I guess. Still, I can't play the recorder. And Friday last week, I had just this most wonderful afternoon. It wasn't planned or anything. I just felt, why not figure this out? And I started, and I was sitting the entire afternoon, and it was such a wonderful experience for me. I even had some Turkish delight. It's finished now, but I had 2 pieces then, because there was some point when my brain just wanted to explode from all the new information, and as you dig for answers, there just comes more levels and levels, etc. But the first thing that I needed to find out was, which kind of recorder do I have? So I figured out that this is the Soprano recorder, and it's got a second name, which is the descant recorder. So this is the small one. There is smaller ones, but your fingers can just fit on the holes nicely. Then I needed to find out the second recorder. Now the 2 that I bought are exactly the same, so I knew they were the same, but which one are they? Because there's 4 main recorders. Let me just get to my page. This is very new information for me. It's the soprano recorder, then you get the alto, the tenor, and the bass. So I saw that it's definitely not the bass, because I was so submerged in my subject. I literally turned off all my social media. I was just focusing, but then I had to go back to YouTube and listen to people explaining which recorder is which. So I saw on the video that it's definitely not the bass, because the bass is like a big recorder, and I think it like tilts here at the bottom. So I could scratch off bass. It wasn't bass. But then I just couldn't figure out whether this is the alto recorder or the tenor recorder, because that specific YouTube video was kind of like also cutting off the bottom of the recorder, especially the bigger one, the tenor. But then towards the end of the video, I saw, wait a minute, the tenor recorder has got like a button here at the last hole is basically so low down that nobody's fingers could ever reach there, not even a giant's. So there is like a button that you press, almost like a trumpet, with a connection which then closes the hole at the bottom. So that was when I figured out, okay, so this is definitely not the tenor, because I can actually reach with my pinky to the last hole over there. So the only option left was that it must be an alto recorder, and it also has a second name. I wish I wrote it down. Please forgive me if this is not correct, but I think it's also called the treble. This might be wrong, but I just know there's another name for this. I'll figure it out. So this is the soprano or descant, and this is the alto recorder. Now, why that is important is because I needed to find out what is the ranges of these recorders, and then I wanted to link the range to the familiar territory for me, which is the piano. And as I was doing the lesson, I found out another thing, and that is that there is different kinds of recorders, and I have a picture here. You get the German recorders, and you get the Baroque or English recorders. So I had to again establish which is which and what do I have. So I figured that I have the Baroque or English recorders. The reason is because the fifth hole from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is a bigger hole than the rest. Now, the German recorders also has got some bigger holes in between some of the holes, but it's not the fifth one. The fifth one is actually a small one. So that is how I know that this is not a German recorder. As you can see, I must hold this as well as show it. Yeah, I'm not used to recorders. So here is the hole. That is a bigger hole than the rest, which means this is a Baroque or English recorder. Same with this alto recorder. As you can see clearly, the fifth hole, which is this one, is bigger than the rest of the holes. So this again is the Baroque or English type of recorder. Why this is important, I think, is because of the fingering. The soprano or tenor recorder according to the Baroque English fingering. So you need to know whether you have a Baroque or English instrument or a German instrument. So we've established this is the Baroque or English instrument. These are finger charts that I downloaded for free from the internet. Don't we just live in the best era ever? So much free knowledge, free inspiration, so much resources. It's just an adventure. So now we can also learn something else. There's 4 recorders, and some of them's fingering are the same as other ones. And what we've just read here is that this soprano one's fingering, once I know how to press the holes for the different notes, press closed the different holes for the different notes, I will automatically be able to play yet another instrument, which will be the tenor recorder, which is the one that's got the button that you press like a trumpet, which will then close the hole at the pinky. So it's going to be the same fingerings, it's just going to be a little bit more spread it out because it will be a bigger recorder. So for now, let's not worry about the tenor, but I'm going to learn the soprano fingerings for the Baroque or English fingering for the instrument. It sounds like I'm speaking very dear mekaar. Then for the alto recorder, also free downloads from the internet, we have again the English or Baroque fingering, which I assume is the same, and the alto basic fingerings. So this bigger one is our alto recorder. So we've learned 3 things now. We've learned what these instruments are called. Oh, I did not want that to happen. Just a second, please. I put this here so perfectly that I knew what was going on here. Let me just do this. Okay, we've learned this is the soprano, this is the alto. Both of them has got the Baroque or English fingering systems with the 5th hole that is bigger over here. And then we looked at the fingerings. Okay, now what is the ranges of these instruments? The soprano recorder got a book with it when I got it in primary school, and that book showed the notes from middle C that I'm used to on the piano up to the G, the 2nd G. Now, I always say piano is by far the easiest instrument, and the reasons why I say that is because of the visibility of what's going on. You get like the bigger picture. So in music, you have 2 staves, stave is these 5 straight lines. Now, when you have this signature, it means your right hand is going to play it. When you have this signature, it means your left hand is going to play it. With piano, your fingers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The thumbs are always 1. With a recorder and guitar, the fingerings will be different. We're not going to get into that today. We focus on the ranges. So when I play piano, the way you can see it on the piano is that when you connect the 2 staves, it's like you're putting the left hand and the right hand in front of you. Can you see? I just tilt the page like that. Then it looks like a piano. You can picture a piano over here. And if I put it here, this middle C and that middle C at the bottom of the right hand signature and at the top of the stave with the left hand signature, it's actually the same note on the piano, and it's our 0 or starting point. All our songs, when we start a piano song, we will start round about here and play like 5 notes to this side and 5 notes to this side. Like your hand position will be like that. That will be probably your entire first book will be just that. And that's why I'm saying, if you only know middle C and you know it well, then you can calculate all the rest of the notes. And because you calculate them and you're not guessing them, it kind of gets ingrained into your soul, into your head, into your whole system. You get the finger memory, everything. Like, I know many people who've told me they've forgotten the letter names they've basically forgotten the notes when they are adults and they had music as children. And then the way, the system that my teacher taught us, like start from middle C, line, space, line, space, line, space, and work each note, work out what it is from middle C, down and up. You start from middle C to calculate each and every note. In that way, it gets so ingrained in your mind, like, I wouldn't be easily able to forget the notes, even if I tried to. I mean, I'm saying this with all humbleness. Something could happen. You can get brain damage or something. Of course, then I'll forget the songs, or the notes, or you can get Alzheimer's or something like that. But on a general note, I'm not able to forget it easily because it was not learned as a parrot. It was ingrained into my brain. It's like second nature to me. You can wake me in the middle of the night and I can tell you instantly what any of these circles are, but I never ever learned them like a parrot. It's just from all the years of playing, and each book takes it a little bit further, a little bit further. And once you get like through the John W. Shome book B, the blue book, you would actually be able to have reached the notes from here to there, which would then enable you to play any commercial song. Now, most commercial songs will have 1 or 2 notes further than that and higher than this, but because it's so few notes extra mixed in with all the rest of the basic notes, you can still play it because you can manage a song by playing the entire song in the basics, and then just here and there you quickly have to calculate some specific extra notes. I mean, it's totally doable. But let's say if a beginner can't even start at book 2, they need to start at book 1 because you don't have this basic knowledge yet, and you really will not be doing yourself a favor by trying to jump in at any higher level. You would really just shoot yourself in the foot. So piano is very easy. All the notes are next to each other. These circles resemble the white notes. From middle C, 13 to this side, 13 to that side. This is what you are seeing here. The black notes we are completely, totally ignoring because they are the easiest notes, and they come with circles, but it's the same circle, so you don't have to learn their names. You never have to learn the black notes' names. Black notes are only like accessories Like you take the same circle with the same name and you just give it an accessory. Like you take my name, A for Adele, and let's say it's this circle over here. It's an A. Now, whether I'm going to be walking barefoot or with a high heel or with some flip-flops, doesn't matter. It's not going to change who I am. It's not going to change my name. It's not going to change the letter of my name. So that is why you never learn the black notes. You just ignore them and you take them one by one as they cross your life, as they get into your world. You introduce yourself to them and you say, hi, how are you? And let's play and let's have some fun. But they're like accessories. You never have to learn them. And they are also the most fun. But somehow it's also the notes that most people struggle with, because I think they just want to make it too complicated. But it's not. It's the simplest thing to learn. The hardest part of playing music is to understand where your middle C is, because see, you can get very confused because the right hand one is at the bottom and the left hand one is at the top. But to kind of make it more common sense, just remember they are like the thumbs meeting in the middle of the two hands for beginner songs. Remember that the finger number, a thumb or a pinky or a middle finger or a ring finger or a pinky, did I say pinky, has got nothing, zero whatsoever, or the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, has got zero to do with what note it is, with the note name. If you think you are going to look at the numbers and play the songs, you are going to get it right sometimes, but you will definitely be misled some other times. So it's not the road that I would suggest. You can actually even ignore the finger notes, but the finger notes are just there, here and there, just so you can know that that's the most effective fingering for the song. That's all it is. It just gives you effectiveness. It doesn't give you accuracy in terms of what note you need to play. Because today A might be played with number 1. The next song or the next day, that same A might be played with a pinky. Or that same A might be played with the middle finger. It depends on the specific song. So always look at the letters more. See the letters as more important than the fingering, especially in the beginning. Don't let the fingers guide you. You might get it all wrong and the song will not even sound like the same song. But if you play the correct notes with all the wrong fingerings, nobody would even know that you are playing it wrong, because your note names are correct. Okay, so that was a long explanation about why the piano is easy. But that is our frame of reference. Now we want to frame it back to that, the easy instrument, the piano. So, in my book for this soprano recorder, all the songs was exactly this, from the C to the G. And I always thought, for 35 years, let's say, I thought that the recorder's range, the soprano recorder's range, is from middle C up to this G over here, middle C to G. Only for me to find out that it's actually one range higher. So it's written like this pink here, from the C to the G, but in real life, it sounds actually from this C to the next G. So I'm going to quickly put on the piano here, the keyboard, and let's hear it. There will just be a delay because I only have 2 hands, but let's try. So a C is when you close all the holes. Just bear with me, I'm not a recorder player. I'm starting, it's my day 1. So the sounds might be horrifying, especially when you close all of them. It's the most difficult. It's so hard. Can you hear it's the same note? It's not the middle C, it's this higher C. In the ISO music notation, the ISO system, not the British system, the scientific pitch motion, scientific pitch notation. Oh, so confusing. Table of note frequencies. Okay, the British one uses a small c and a big C. The ISO system uses only C's from the bottom to the top. So this one, the first C will be C0. I think they call it 0 because it's only 2 notes. There's not a full range that you can use to play. Then the next C is C1, C2, wait a minute, C1, C0, C0, no, I'm lying. The 0 part has got no C's. So A and B on the system, the table of frequencies, they call 0. Then it starts at C1. C1 to the B, C2 to the B, C3 to the B. In other words, middle C is your C4. It's literally the 4th C on the piano from your left side. Then it goes 5, 6, 7, 8. So it goes up to C8. Now, why is this important? Because as I was looking at the ranges for the notes, I saw that there's a difference for the recorder in how you write the music and how you hear the music. It's higher when you hear it. It's written an octave lower when you write it down. I think it's just to make it easier to read it, because when you make it lower, in other words, from the middle C to the G, can you see you inside the stave? It's lovely to look at the circles. It reads easily. But if you were to write it down as it should have been from here, the second space up to the G7, which is this higher range, the purple one, can you see how difficult it starts to get to read the notes, because you've got all these little ledger lines, which are extra lines. That is the ones that I talked about, that even after book 3, you haven't touched on them. So they're kind of more difficult to play, more unfamiliar. You need to calculate them one by one. Whereas the notes in this bigger stave range, you just knows them off heart. So this is now what's happening. The only thing that I think should be in the books to avoid confusion is that they should put a figure 8 here at the top of the stave or the top of the signature, because to indicate that we are writing it here, but it should sound an octave higher. Why my little red book doesn't show that, I'm not sure. Perhaps because we were only in primary school, and I mean, who would worry about that? Who would even notice we're in the wrong octave? But now, as I'm an adult, and I don't like just believe everything I see, and I want to figure it out, especially the basics from anything before I can comfortably start with it or immerse myself into the topic, is I needed to understand in which octave we were. So I hope you understand. But the great thing is it means that you can take any beginner's song, beginner's book, and you can play so many free music with your recorder. Just know that the note that you're seeing on paper is not actually the note that's coming out of here. The note that you play from the instrument is an octave higher. But I still think it was a brilliant idea to do it like that, because why, with an instrument like this, which is simple, you only play one note at a time, why read the more difficult sheet music? I think it was brilliant to just bring the sheet music down an octave and have it simple and easy on your eyes, on your whole system, and enjoy it like that. I think it is brilliant. The person that decided to simplify it like that should get a medal. But like I say, because it actually on paper is a lie, I think they should just all put the 8 figure at the top, meaning it's 8 notes higher. It will sound an octave higher. There's another signature, sometimes they call it a 15. It means it's 2 octaves higher, 8 plus 8. But remember, it's always one less, so it's 15. Because the C you're not going to play again. Long story short, we are very happy with this. Now, the alto recorder's range is, okay, I want to be honest with you. In my head, these 35 years, I always knew this would be different ranges. And you can only play one note at a time. It's not like a piano where you can play 3 notes at once, making a chord. You need 3 people playing the 3 notes to make a chord. But I knew it would be ranges, obviously because the sizes are different, and I knew it would be different heights or frequencies. But I thought whether one stops exactly there, the other one would take off. I know this is lower. I thought it would connect like this. But I see here that it kind of overlaps a bit. So this one is the lower one. It's not that low actually, because it doesn't even reach middle C. But its range sounds as well as is written the same. There's no difference as with the soprano. So it makes sense to learn this one first actually, which is the F, C, D, E, F. Middle C, D, E, F. So it starts here. Middle C, D, E, F. With these 2 recorders, we can actually chuck this away. We're not even going to use the left-hand side of the piano. So you're only interested in this figure. When you get to the tenor and the bass, then you will use this side of the sheet music. But for these 2, they are in the right hand. So the lowest note here is the F for the alto recorder, and it goes up to the A. Yes. So this is the range of the alto recorder. And I can show you here. So the one that's written and the sounds that you hear are exactly the same. And we can test it here on the piano. I'm going to play this F now. So the F will be the lowest note on here, meaning you are closing every hole that there is. Because I thought they connect straight like this and there's no overlap, I knew that this one's bottom note, when you close everything, was a C from my book. I didn't know what C, but I knew it was a C. So I thought when you close this one's, all of its holes, it would also be a C. But it's actually not a C, it's actually an F. So let's listen. It's a hard one to play. I probably won't get it right. And all these holes should line up exactly. Oh, this thing is so skew. I was playing on my other one yesterday. As you can hear, it's very difficult. Can't even get that sound up. As you get lower and closing more notes, it's very difficult. Sounds terrible, but you get the idea. For everybody that can play the recorder, that is so good at playing it, it's basically you closing all the holes. That is your F. I wish I could just play it. It's so hard. So that's about the F. Can you hear? It's that note, F. F. So now what this means is, because I can read sheet music from playing piano, it means that the only thing I need now to understand how to play the recorder is to find out my fingerings, because I can read the notes and I know the ranges, I know where I am in terms of the frequencies. So I think that is so exciting. So basically, the F to the A is this instrument. This is the range written, and this is also the range on the piano. And it's also the range that you hear when you play it. So this one is straightforward. But I think why everybody starts with this one in school is because the fingering is much easier on your hands, especially when you're a child and you still have small hands. Now I'm an adult, of course, and I can't even easily play this. It's very hard. Like these notes are easy. But once you get to the bottom, see there, that last note is the problem. Hopefully, 100 videos from now, you look back at this video and have a big laugh and find it easy to do. I don't know how much practice it will take. I can just say it's very, very hard. It's harder to play an F on a recorder than to play an F on the piano. Where's the middle C? See why I'm saying the piano is much easier? I wasn't lying. And I can give you another bonus. I just need to check my notes. The piano seems like a bewildering, intimidating instrument. There's many reasons for that. Number one, it's very heavy. A real piano takes 8 grown men, or at least 4 grown men, to move, to shift around. I think the power just went, but my camera should be rolling still, which is no problem. So, load shedding fun. So, a full-size piano or a full-size keyboard has got 88, let me just check this, 88 keys. This is the white plus the black keys. But remember I told you that you actually get a discount. A discount in terms of there's some notes that you never have to learn. They kind of just are there for free. Like, they're just your cupboard full of accessories. You can play with them, you can have fun with them, but it's not like homework. You never have to learn them. They are your friends. So basically there are 36 black keys on a full-size keyboard or piano, and you can get discount for that. It's like you have to pay 88 Rand, but you get 36 Rand discount. You only have to pay 52 Rand. This is just an example. I'm not saying there's no money involved here or transactions. It's just a picture that I'm trying to paint here. The point is, never be intimidated by the piano, because you're not gonna have to learn all 88 notes. Not on the piano and not on the sheet music, because the sheet music only shows the white notes as circles, and the piano shows them as white notes. But on the sheet music, I mean, don't look at the color of the circles. Just know that the white notes are the circles. That's all you need to know. Then, the white notes on the piano is the ones that we're working with, the ones that we play, the ones that we learn. They are the circles on the sheet music. But the trick is to my method, and it's basically everybody's, or a lot of people's method, is the method from beginner stage up to the end of book B. Maybe you can also do the purple book C of John W. Shome, piano course, just to reinforce this basic knowledge. So what we are saying is, where we had 52 white notes available to us, we're mostly only going to play on these notes, which are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 plus 13 is 26. But remember, the C and the C is the same. So less 1 is only 25 notes that you need to know off heart. And these 25 notes only contains 7 letters of the alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So it's not even as difficult as reading a book. You don't need 26 letters. You only need 7 letters. And for some reason, the starting point is at C. But this is how it works. You say the alphabet C, D, E, F, G. Now your alphabet, your 7 letters are done. So where do you start? You start then right in the front again at A. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. When you're done with your music alphabet, start again at A. That's how simple it is. And the way it goes, this is just attention to detail, is the circles are on a line in a space, on a line in a space, between 2 lines, on a line in a space, a line, space, line, space, line, space, line. So when the sequence is line, space, line, space, line, space, it means those notes are right next to each other. Line, space, line, space, line, space, line, space. Now, to do the left-hand musical alphabet, it's more harder. But all that it is you are saying the alphabet backwards. You can even write the normal alphabet here and then just checking it backwards. So we have C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A, G, F, E. And we always, this is a trick in music. You don't want your brain to default to 2, 3, 4, 5 different systems. So the way that I was taught, my brain only defaults to one single system, and that is middle C, upward, music alphabet, say it as per normal, forward. Middle C, backward, downward to the left hand. Start at middle C, say your music alphabet backwards. C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A, G, F, E. That is literally how simple it is. So the line space thing is white notes right next to each other. When you have a note space and nothing there and then space again, it means there's a note, a white note missing in between. So you would be like skipping one. The same as when you jump from a line to a line with nothing in between. it will also mean it's a white note with no white note in between. So you skip it. So this is basically how you read sheet music. All the other lines and signs and dots and stripes and bows, just ignore it in the beginning, because they might just overwhelm you, and terms and all sorts of things. But that is not the hard part of music. That is not what's throwing people off the bus. It is knowing these circles. So if you can focus on getting the hardest part in your brain first, in a good way, that you understand it, not just like a parrot, the rest will come naturally and easily. So now I still want to quickly show you the overlap of these two instruments. So here's the C for the soprano, which is the next C after middle C. We said that middle C is C4, so it sounds like C5. It's written like C4, but it sounds like C5. That is the real frequency. And we already established we don't have a problem. We think it is brilliant that they brought the right written notation down to the middle C, because it's way easier. Brilliant, brilliant. Like we said, they should just put the little 8 at the top of the stave, so that everybody just knows that we are actually dealing with notes that sounds 8 notes higher or an octave higher. You know, sometimes the small detail can really be the thing that just makes you understand something better. So the overlap, like I said, I thought it would be a C matching to a C, but here's overlap on this instrument. So the soprano's written notes are C to G. The range is the higher C to G, the C5 to this G, not the C4 to this G. Okay? And the alto recorder's range and sound is exactly the same, and it starts at the F to the A. So this is not real. Remember, this is only written. So let's take it off. So the real overlap is here. What did I want to say? So there's more than one. There's a lot of overlaps. The F to the G is where we are overlapping, which means that if we can play the C, the top C, D, E, F, or the G, where the overlap are, the two instruments should technically sound the same. So let's try the F. Remember, the recorder is brand new. Not new, I've had it for 15 to 35 years, but using it is new to me. So I'm going to look on the soprano for the F note. The F, fingering chart of the soprano. Oh my goodness, I don't like what I see here. Here is a hole that is closed halfway. I know it exists. Slightly open the thumb hole, but I'm not ready for this. Really, I'm not ready for this. Oh my goodness. How am I even going to do this? But let's just pretend. So the F on this no, wait a minute. These F's are never going to match. Maybe that's a good thing. The C, the C's should match. That should be easy. Okay, the C should match. Remember, this C is difficult to play, but at least we know what to play. Can you hear? It's the same. Now we're looking for this C. So it's not the note at the bottom, it's a little bit higher. I go to my basic fingering for the alto. We're looking for a C. Ah, there it is. I'm going for this C. The second space from the top in sheet music. The fingering is the first 4 holes needs to be closed. I just want to show you the C on here as well. We are working now with this C over here in the second space. So I'm going to play it on the piano, on the soprano, as well as on the alto. And those 3 notes, because they overlap, should sound the same. F on the piano, sorry, not F, C on the piano, C on the soprano. Can you hear? It's exactly the same. Oh, I can press in the pedal, then you can hear it. Oh. Can you hear them matching? So this is where the 2 instruments starts overlapping. Now, the top C or the C5 on this instrument, we said it would be closing the top 4 holes. So it's the thumb, we close the thumb, and the top 3 holes, which is 4 holes that you are closing. Shouldn't be too difficult. So it's C. Can you hear? It sounds the same. So to keep this video short, we'll stop right here. But this method you can use for the C, the D, the E, the F, and the G. So there's 5 notes that these 2 recorders share. This one is lower, but from the top C, it starts at the F after middle C, the F to the right of middle C on the piano. You play it, and then from C5, the next C, these 2 instruments are starting to overlap. So for me, this opens a world of, I wouldn't say knowledge to me, but understanding, which means that I can now take any sheet music and try to play them on my recorders. And I'm so excited, because this is like a whole entire new world that opened for me. And my next step will be to start playing songs, because I know now how the sheet music relates to the instruments. And I'm going to start with easy songs, and as I do the easy songs, obviously I'm going to look at my charts and learn the fingerings. And I'm not going to learn it as a parrot. I'm going to learn it through playing songs, because I want it to be again ingrained into my brain. And I just can't wait. I think it's going to be the most fun I've had in a long time. And my dream, my ultimate dream, this has been for at least 15 years, is to integrate the instruments. So I would love to do the same for the guitar also, to understand where middle C is and how it fits in with the piano. So my main channel is Piano Island. I'll probably post this video on the Recorder Island as well as the Piano Island as well as the Guitar Island channels. But in the end they will be separate, just to keep it nicely organized. But I hope that you can just understand the place that I'm coming from, or the point that I want to achieve is I want to integrate it for my own brain. I don't even know if there's one person who wants to learn it in this way, but for me, it's the only way that I can tackle those other instruments. Because if I do not do that for myself, it feels like I have a cognitive dissonance. Like I can't just play and then it doesn't stick to something that I already know. I can just lastly finish by saying that I've watched a wonderful YouTube video. It was on the subject of accounting. Actually, to be more specific, it was on auditing. Basically, to pass the board exams. And I don't have the name of the video right now. I'll see if I can maybe link it in the comments section. But this lady was talking about, especially with the board exam, you won't get a question on tax or a question on audit or a question on accounting. The question will be an integrated question. Now for me, most university subjects, at the end of the day, it just leads to like an overload of information. And that, I felt like that often before. So that also opened a whole new world for me. And this girl was saying, first learn your structure. The structure is like your house, your rooms, like the principles, the main principles. You need to kind of know the structure of what is going where. And then when you get the furniture, when you get the detail, when you get the smaller stuff, you know where they go. Like a stove wouldn't go into the bathroom, just like a bed wouldn't go into the kitchen. So when you first focus on knowing your structure for any subject, then it will make it 10 times more easy to randomly fit your detail where it belongs and also to integrate your work. And for me, it's the same as with music. Our structure is basically knowing where middle C is, how it looks on the sheet music, what it sounds like, where it is on the piano. And from that structure, then I can start to build little rooms of ranges for where the other instruments would fit in. And obviously then it makes it so easy because there's a lot of overlap. It means there's a lot of discounts, which means a lot of things that you don't have to relearn or learn again because you already know it from playing the other instrument. So that's it for today, and I hope to see you again soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.